All right, take two. Hi, everyone. It is our Sunday morning show, wrapping up everything for our Saturday games. Yes, I'm wearing a Penguins jersey because I can't very well wear a Rangers jersey right now, can I? Got a love-hate relationship with my Rangers. Anyway, so yeah, yesterday, 5 of the 6 games really weren't a contest. Well, yeah, for the most part, teams pulled away. Um, More so than on Friday. I thought Friday we had closer games, but Saturday, some offenses kind of poured it on. We did have one exception, game that went right down to the wire. But let's get into this. So with the PeeDee Ice Cats, they were able to do what they weren't able to do the previous 2 games, and that was reassert their offensive presence, really put a lot of pressure on that, and tilt the ice down towards the offensive zone. Did it with their forecheck, and they really hadn't been able to do that last 2 games, but they were last night. That did take a little while to get going. It was 2-2 after one. Twin City was hanging in there, but they were hampered by the fact that Zach White was not in the lineup last night. And that's a lot of their offensive prowess right there. But in the meantime, PeeDee did a much better job cycling the puck down low. They use their forecheck to create turnovers, so Twin City wasn't able to get as much going. But 6-2 is the final. Started off a little slower. Dustin Gisso gets on the board at 4 minutes in. Twin City counters with Roman Kramer. Kramer got both goals last night, actually, and that's just it. The old problem recycled or resurfaced, excuse me, for Twin City, and that is getting some support scoring beyond that first line. You had Ford and Kramer, and last night Jacob Schnapp was on that top line in the absence of White. And beyond that, just things weren't working for him. Meanwhile, PeeDee used their forecheck again, to push the puck down the ice. Dominic Marcinkiewicz, a goal and 2 assists on the night. Houston Wilson, the same. And we had Timur Rasilov kind of getting in the action, pinching up a little bit more. 3 assists for him on the night. From the blue line. So, yeah, it was a much better effort overall for PeeDee. It was 2-2 at the end of one. They got the third goal in that second period. It was Adrian Chance getting on the board. And then in the third, it was just all PeeDee. They get an empty netter at the end of the game. Now, Twin City was on a power play. And they pulled Dyson Skinner. It's an empty net goal, but yeah, this is the 6th shorthanded goal already this year that the PeeDee Ice Cats have scored. So that's really something. That's quite a pace. They're on pace for like 25 shorthanded goals this year. That's insane. Anyway, 6-2, 49 shots on goal for the Ice Cats. They were able to keep Skinner busy, and in the meantime, on the other end, Ricardo Gonzalez got in a nice rhythm, earned himself a win. So, Kramer with the 2 goals. Anyway, so PeeDee 6-4-1. They're in the middle now of the Continental standings, but a lot can change pretty quickly amongst that 2, 3, 4 spot. So we'll see what happens over the next few weeks. Twin City drops to 4-8. In Danbury, Binghamton, Danbury complete a home and home. Thankfully, all the nastiness that began at the towards the end of Friday night's game kind of seemed to work its way out by the time we got to the end of the first period. Um, so, thankfully, there was a minimal amount of hostilities. Anyway, Binghamton, they get 3 in the first period and go on to a 5-1 win. It was a packed house. Danbury Ice Arena was packed with a lot of scouts. It was scout night, and before I remember thinking before the game began, they just had all the scouts come out in the ice. Um, as the introductions were going on, and it was just a mass of kids. So anyway, yeah, 24-58. That's pretty close to a full house for Danbury. Really, really close. But anyway, Binghamton, in the meantime, they just keep on rolling. They got their 3 in the first. Yates, Jansen, and Thompson scoring. Mac Jansen, he had himself a pretty good weekend. Got the game-winning goals both nights. This time around, it was the second goal of the game in the first period, 14:04. Yeah. Sebastian Reesar never really looked comfortable in this game. He looked very off kilter. Binghamton was able to take advantage. It was 4-0 before Danbury got on the board and figured out how to solve Dominic Tomei, but that was it. That was by Drew Welsh, and then Binghamton tacked on 1 late in the game for good measure. Binghamton now 12-2-0. Of course, tops in the Empire Division. And Danbury, they follow the 5-7-2. 3 of those wins come against Watertown, so they've got to do some figuring out. Watertown and Indiana are the only 2 teams they've beaten so far. So a lot of questions in Danbury. A lot of Danbury fans voicing their displeasure with how the team has been performing as of late. I think there's potential there, but there are some tweaks that need to be done, in my opinion. All right, we go to Columbus, and they weren't having any of this Gary predicts a split thing going on because they scored early and often. They put 2 goals up really quick against Josh Rosenzweig. Cruised to a 6-2 win. It was Sturgeon 149, and then Kevin Zabad at 213. The Sturgeon goal was on the power play, so don't get yourself into penalty trouble right off the bat. That's part of the problem. But anyway, Barrow scored a couple of goals, 1 shorthanded. So, we're seeing a lot of shorthanded goals, more so in the Continental Division teams than with the Empire Division teams. Does that notate a difference in style of play? I don't know. I don't know. It'd be kind of interesting. I kind of made a mental note of that last night, though. There's a lot more shorthanded goals in the Continental Division. So, why is that? So that's something I'm going to kind of keep my eye on over the next couple of weeks. Anyway, 5 straight goals by Columbus after Sturgeon and Sabad scored. Barrow scored twice, once in the first, once in the second, and then Ryan Hunter added 1 before the Breakers really got going. Again, Columbus kind of shuts down that exception line of the top line of Biloxi, and they really aren't getting a whole lot of depth scoring right now. So there are problems on both ends of the ice for Biloxi. The defense, they're just giving up way too much space at this point in their own zone. Goaltenders are facing a lot of shots, a lot of grade A shots. And meanwhile, they're not getting the puck in the net themselves. So that's a problem. Brandon Lucchese, he did score the first of the two Breakers goals. Caden Henry did get on the board. So that was about all you saw from the exception line. It was a good defensive effort by Columbus, and a good goaltending performance as well by Trevor Babin. In the second period, he really had to come up big a couple times, and he did. So, Rosenzweig was facing the lion's share of shots. As a matter of fact, beginning of the game, shots were 11-0 before Biloxi got anything going. So, again, that just says some adjustments need to be made. Columbus improves to 8-4, while Biloxi falls to 3-7-1. Babin with the win, Rosenzweig with a loss. 5 goals in a row. That'll win you some games. So, a good crowd on hand as well in the Columbus arena, the Columbus Civic Center. Excuse me. All right, so this ended up being the most, I don't know if you could say exciting. It was exciting, but the most evenly matched game of the night. The night before, Baton Rouge had done everything right. They outshot Topeka more than 2-1, and they got stonewalled by Brizgalov. Tonight, Sammy Bernard was back in net. It was the first start he'd had in almost a month. So, getting him back into a rhythm was good. It did take a while. These teams traded goals. It was Topeka on the board first, 5:06. TJ Sneath scores in a 5-on-3 power play. Zydeco get themselves in penalty trouble, and, well, there you go. But it was Ildur Madyarov, who had just signed on Thursday. He scores the evening goal. You get to the second period, it's Jacob Gagnon scoring, puts Topeka back up. Nick Catola scores, evens things back up again. And then Jake Cox scores to give Baton Rouge the lead. So it was 3-2 at the end of 2. And again, the Zydeco were kind of at that point getting the better chances, getting more shots. But then I don't know what happened between the second and the third period. Obviously, Coach Nichols took the Scarecrows aside, made some adjustments. They really tightened up the defense. And Zydeco were only able to get 4 shots on goal in that final period, in the third period. And meanwhile, they tie things up with Sneath scoring again. So TJ had a real good game, 2 goals, obviously. So we go to overtime. It's back and forth. And getting late, 4:29 in, it is Elijah Wilson scoring the game winner. And there you go. It's a 4-3 win for Topeka. The good news for the Zydeco, they do pick up a point. The bad news is they lose another 2 points. So 1-6-2 on this early part of the year. Really looking for some answers. They got a lot of offensive opportunities in this game. They're just not converting it into goals. Topeka, in the meantime, they improved to 7-3. A couple of those wins are in overtime, but hey, they're wins. So they climb the standings a little bit more. And Sammy Bernard gets himself a win, 29 saves, 32 shots. Connor Green, kind of a surprise starter for the Zydeco, as they're looking to get things going. This was Green's first start of the year. He was with Blue Ridge last year. He kind of bounced around before he actually was able to get on the ice. And so he made his debut. 29 saves as well. Just needed to have one more. Anyway, Zydeco, they're looking for some answers. They're down in 7th place in the Continental and trying to figure out what they do. So that was the closest game of the night. Games that I was able to actually watch the majority of these games, but I didn't watch the whole thing, so I didn't do a super detailed report. But Blue Ridge, what a difference a day makes. Friday night, they get shut down. It's 4-1. They lose and they come back with a 5-1 win. And they played with a lot more grit, a lot more sandpaper. And against the Prowlers, I guess if you can do it a little better, maybe that works out. It seemed to last night as well. So anyway, Cooper makes his second start back to back. Things didn't go the way he had hoped. But this game, it was strange. Blue Ridge made the most of their opportunities. Port Huron had a lot of opportunities, and it seemed like something would happen, like a stick snapping on a shot, or a block by the Blue Ridge defense, or they a wide open pass on a breakaway, and the pass doesn't connect. Just bad puck luck for the Prowlers. Conversely, good puck luck for the Bobcats. And in the meantime, when Port Huron did get opportunities, Anthony Shrum just stood on his head, and probably the best goaltending performance of the night of anyone. Fantastic job by Shrum. He made sure Port Huron was not going to get in this game. Surrendered one goal late to Nick Favreau, but that was it. That's all that got by him. In the meantime, you had 2 goals by Dan Klinecki, who also added an assist. You also had 2 goals by Carson Andrioli, a couple of assists by Brandon Reller, and yeah. So as you see, with the shots on goal, Port Huron had the edge, 15-13 in the first, 15-9 in the second, and then the Blue Ridge Bobcats just said, okay, let's just get this game put away. Really focused on defense, limited Port Huron the 5 shots on goal in the final period, and which was strange. Only 5 shots on goal, and that's when they scored. Nick Favreau. But anyway, Shrum stops 34 of 35 on a night. Again, very good performance by him. Cooper, the 1 goal was an empty netter, so 27 saves on 31 shots. And there we go. Port Huron falling to 9-5, and the Bobcats do improve to 6-6, looking to get some momentum going now. They have games like this where or weekends like this where one game's a stinker and the next game they're doing really well. And usually with the Bobcats, it's the Friday game that's better and the Saturday game that's not so good. But they turned things around this weekend. Finally, go to Monroe and Athens. Wow, Athens offensively just did not look good this weekend. They did get the 2-1 win on Friday, but they just didn't get a whole lot of opportunities. They only had 21 shots on goal on Friday, and then 27, which is a little better, on Saturday, but they just looked out of kilter. And Monroe was able to really use their sticks, active sticks, to clog up the passing lanes, really slowed down the Athens attack. And again, in the game, suddenly it's 5-1 Monroe. It was quite the first period. Especially late, they just kind of scored 3 goals really quick on Carter McPhail. You had Austin Albrecht, game-winning goal, 18-18 of the first. At that point, that was 4-1. They would add another one before Athens got a couple to kind of get back into it. But then at the end of the game, again, Monroe kind of took over. Good forechecking game there, but the strong start, that was the key. Monroe just put the pedal to the metal, didn't let off, and they come up with the win. 19 shots in that first period. You get 19 shots in a period against Athens, you've done something right. From there on, the shots were pretty even, but Garrett Milan looked frustrated all night. You really didn't see anyone breaking loose, getting grade A opportunities for Athens. The goals that they did get were more of the greasy type, which you want to get those goals, but you also want to be able to open up the ice as well, and that just didn't happen. So Monroe played a solid game and ends up getting a split. And so there was the second pick that I missed for the week, but still did pretty good. Nonetheless, Monroe now 7-3-1. They are tied in points with Columbus. Now, this afternoon we have Monroe hosting Biloxi. Biloxi has not had a good couple of games, and then they've got to get on the bus and take a 7-hour bus ride over to Monroe for an afternoon start. So that bodes well for Monroe. I'm not counting Biloxi out, but obviously going into the game, I think the advantage lies with Monroe. Athens, the second loss of the year, 10-2, still atop of the Continental Division. Monroe and Columbus, not that far behind. So now Columbus, they have an extra regulation win. So technically they're in second, Monroe is in third, but that can change this afternoon. Monroe can take over second place by themselves. So that is our weekend in review. Now, coming up this next week, we got a ton of games. We've got 20 games all told. I am not going to be doing a picks and previews special post for Wednesday's game. I will post my picks on Facebook, but it's not going to be like an extended preview type of post. So a lot of stuff going on. Work is very busy, and I want to get everything out there. But yeah, so avail yourself to schedule that I have pinned at the top of my Facebook page. I'll let you know what I'm going to be doing this week. In the meantime, thank you for tuning in. Again, thank you for all the support, all the new subscribers. Please make sure you subscribe if you haven't done so already. Deeply appreciate that. And also make sure that you are on the Facebook page following that. All the news as it comes across the boards, I post it there. And you can keep up to date with everything going on in the FPHL, or most everything. All right, I am Gary Ryan for the Fed League Flash. Again, thank you so much for joining me. I will be doing a game review Thursday morning. For those of you as you're preparing your dinner or whatever, you can tune into that. But we do have news and notes on Wednesday as well, so make sure you're watching for that. Okay, thank you again. I'm Gary Ryan. Have a wonderful rest of the week.